Man, see, this is why brands don't want to work with a hoe. Or a jojoba, anyway. Oh, actually, wait, that is not true. Turns out there are actually more than 0 brands sweating my inbox. Let's see what this one says. Hi, Nappy. We really like your video. Just one of them, I guess. We are one seller from Amazon. We supply a lot of wig products, crochet braids, hair, synthetic wig caps. Okay. Could we sponsor you some hair products? How could we cooperate with you? Wait for your reply. Let's try one more. Hello, dear. I am lucky to see your videos on YTB. You are so charming. Your video has its features. If you have any interested, please feel free to contact me. You know what? Let's move on from that and let's talk about this random ass Sephora sale that's happening right now, as well as makeup junkie culture and how I think marketing to that niche has evolved. I think my chances of ever getting sponsored by Sephora were pretty much non-existent, but if they weren't before, this video is sure to be the nail in that coffin. As some of you guys know, Sephora is having a VIB and VIB Rouge sale right now, which is unusual. Historically, Sephora only has about 2 sales per year where VIB and VIB Rouge can get 15 and 20% off of everything in the store respectively. Meanwhile, beauty insiders generally get 10% off, which I guess is meant to punish them for not overspending at Sephora in the first place to the extent that they actually reach a higher tier. Those 2 big sales are usually in the spring. One is in April, and then in the fall, the other is in November. And if I recall correctly, there have even been cases where during the spring sale, Rouge members, the highest tier, only got 15% off rather than 20%, which is an extremely Bush League discount by any measure. Aside from these 2 major sales where Sephora offers you anywhere from 10 to 20% off whatever bone they decide to throw you, for the past 5 or so years that I've been a makeup enthusiast, aka in the sunken place, beyond those 2 big sales, there really isn't much else that they generally offer. They might have a gift card event maybe once a year where they'll offer members $25 off of a $50 purchase, something like that, and or they may do a sale on sale items, and frankly, there really isn't much of value in the Sephora sale section to begin with. Anyway, the point of all this is simply that, for the most part, Sephora more or less only has had about 2 sales for the whole year for the past several years. With this surprise bonus summer sale, Sephora is now on their 3rd 20% offering for Rouge members just this year, which, once we factor in the upcoming sale in November, will bring us to at least 4 Sephora sales for this year. As far as I know, this is unprecedented, because there was the usual aforementioned spring sale in April. Then, just about a month later, they did another 20% offering for Rouge. I'm not sure if they also had it for VIBs or BIs. Now we have the current sale as well as, again, the one that'll come up in November. I mean, don't get me wrong. Clearly, I love makeup. I'm currently wearing all of the makeup in town. Plus, I love to save money. Or more accurately, I hate paying full price for things. But I think this uptick in the frequency of Sephora's sales lately is a direct response to consumers consuming less. Let's face it, Trump is leading this country straight into a recession, and being anti-consumerism is so hot right now. Consuming less is definitely a critical shift that needs to happen for us to, have a society and be alive and stuff like that. And as a result, social media has largely just become a giant contest of people trying to out-woke each other. People are really out there doing the Lord's work by hashtagging Pray for Amazonia. I digress. Minimalist living, anti-capitalism, anti-hauls even, these have all been having a moment on YouTube for quite a few years now. And frankly, I think we've come to a point where there's a lot of makeup junkies out there who are just looking at their Alex drawers full of countless expiring decisions with abject despair. At this point, we own all the makeup. We have it. And those who don't never cared much about makeup to begin with. And the conglomerates don't like it. Not one bit. Due to these various trends and movements of consuming less and no longer hoarding makeup and skincare, it's getting really hard for these brands to sell us more shit that we don't need. As a result, Sephora seems to be taking a page from Ulta's playbook and is offering more sale opportunities than ever. Obviously, I haven't seen their accounts or anything, but this uptick in sale opportunities just smacks of desperation to try to get the pendulum to maybe swing back the other way before people were a bit more mindful about just just how much they were spending on frivolous things. So while I am happy that Sephora finally got the message that they were way too stingy with their sales, I have a hunch that it's far too late for them to try to dupe us into getting back into the insane overspending habits of just a few years ago. At least hopefully. Because of the seemingly relentless onslaught of new release after new release after new release, marketing and manufacturing tactics have had to shift as well to convince us to keep buying stuff. I think we're all well aware that these brands are trying to play on your FOMO to convince you to break your no-buy. But in my opinion, the newest tactics go deeper than that. It's not merely fear of missing out that they're hoping to incite. What they're really trying to do is incite insecurity. These brands want to make you feel insecure about the things that you already own. They want you to think that the mid-tone brown eyeshadows that you already have and that you probably like just fine are just so inferior to the ones in this new palette because the undertones are just so unique. They can't be duped. It can't be done. They want you to think that you need to hurry your ass up and get this new shimmery dust and super luxe packaging on layaway. I mean, Afterpay, and throw your old one in the river because this is new, which means it's better. Whatever it is that you already have, that means it's old, which means it sucks. New means need. Your old makeup is trash and it's gross. Also, 15% off this new thing. Playing on insecurity is nothing new in advertising. In fact, it's probably the foundation of all advertising for everything from cars to concealer. But I do think it has evolved because of social media, influencers, and makeup junkie culture, for lack of a better phrase, and it has escalated. Because the goal now with these beauty brands is to be able to keep selling you the same hydrating, luminous, dewy foundation ad infinitum. We have normalized buying a new foundation even though we already have foundation at home that we already like. Even though you already have 10 foundations at home that you like, this new one is better and you need it. Brands are having to work harder than they did just a couple of years ago to trigger those feelings of insecurity. And now what they're trying to do is essentially trigger panic. This is happening literally and without subtlety. Pat McGrath, there is a new Mothership eyeshadow palette on the way. I believe it's out next month. And of course, they've already started teasing it on Instagram. And one of the teaser post captions literally says, "Prepare to panic." Now, I had this whole rap that I'm doing about insecurity marketing percolating before I even saw that post, but it hit the nail on the head in terms of what I was already observing and what I'm now talking about to you guys today a little bit too perfectly. In these different campaigns from these brands, it's the same thing over and over. These brands are trying to make you think that whatever it is that you already have and therefore like or love, that is not as good as this. Whatever you had before is worse than whatever this new thing is that I'm trying to sell you. I say all of this just to encourage us to be very aware of exactly what these sales and these brands and these influencers are trying to do. We're spending less and they don't like it. So now the tactic is to make us feel inferior and less than for not following around the hype around the latest release. Your shit sucks. This shit is better, so buy it. That is every current beauty campaign in a nutshell. But if you were already happy with your makeup before you learned about this new brush set or that new highlighter, or in many cases, we're overwhelmed with the amount of makeup that we already have, don't let them dupe you into thinking that you absolutely must have some shit that you didn't even know existed 20 minutes ago. You'll be okay if you don't get that highlighter, even though it's limited edition and the packaging is so barked out. I promise you'll be okay. And you can always get it later if it's really keeping you up at night. Or just buy the makeup if you want. I don't know. I don't know. Your life. Just be honest with yourself about what it is that you're doing. If you are looking for more action-oriented tips on how to avoid overspending in this or pretty much any other sale, I did do a video on that, so I'll link that here in case you're curious. As far as whether I'm shopping at all during this Sephora sale, yes, bitch, you crazy? But there was no just throwing things in my cart willy-nilly, which is what 2015 tea would have done. I actually spent less than I budgeted. The only things I got were things that I was going to wait until November to get in that sale, so it was nice to get them a little bit earlier at the same discount. And I also picked up one or two things that just needed to be replenished or replaced. Even though I'm already in a creative field in my career, playing around with fashion, makeup, hair, these are all still big creative outlets for me and a big part of my self-expression. So even though I'm way better about avoiding getting suckered into buying unnecessary crap these days, the fact is, all makeup is unnecessary, really. So it's really just about holding yourself accountable for your choices. These days, I only buy items that are truly unlike anything I already have or that are replenishing things that may have run out, rather than getting 5011 neutral eyeshadow palettes because I just really want to try the formula, or, oh, I just had to get it for the packaging. Which, by the way, if you're buying makeup only for the packaging, grr. Anyway, I ain't got the lid space or the lifespan to come anywhere close to using up all the eyeshadow that I already have. So my purchases are extremely curated these days and are limited only to things that are really unique, inspiring, and or necessary. And by necessary, I mean as necessary as an unnecessary thing like makeup can be. Says the idiot who just bought clothes off of Instagram. I know, I'm still a work in progress. So if you guys want to see a video on that, do let me know, because I'm pretty sure it's going to wind up being one of my life's great regrets. That's a wrap for today's Tea Talk, but thank you so much for hanging out with me. Let me know if you guys are getting off to a good start in your week, and if you are or are not going to partake in this sale. And other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. But remember, never trust anyone with a Morphe code. Bye.
That's a nappy-headed hose there, I'm going to tell you that now.